Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do the collective for today. Today is Sunday, July 13th, 2025. You may follow me on the Talk, the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, we actually love that for you. Whatever does not, just leave it on the table for someone else. You don't need to take on energy that wasn't meant for you. We're going to use the Urban Crow. The Urban Crow. I was going to use it yesterday, and I completely forgot. And last night, sometimes I get decks ready ahead of time and set them up with selenite and stuff like that. So, to cleanse and all that jazz. And so I set out the affirmations decks for this morning. And then I'm like, I'm going to put out the decks for tomorrow for the reads. And then I was like, I gotta do the Crow Oracle. I was supposed to do that today. And I was like, should I do the Crow Oracle or has that time passed? Nope, that time has not passed. Do the Crow Oracle. Do the Crow Oracle. I really wish that they would come out with a second edition to this. I really do. I really do. We got one on the table. I just heard the words eminent domain. Three on the table. Isn't that when you claim like living somewhere even though, because squatters squat and then they have squatters' rights, even though I think that's BS. I think that's total BS. So what is eminent domain? Isn't that like you have a right to be there or like a right to something, right? Like when people try to evict you but you have eminent domain, is that it? Like, hold on. I want to look it up because I just do. My phone is really slow. The term you're looking for is eminent domain. It refers to the power of the government to take private property for public use, even if the owner doesn't want to sell, as long as just compensation is provided. This power is rooted in the Takings Clause of the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Eminent domain is the government's right to seize private property for public use. Yeah. I think the city of Chicago a bunch of times tried to take property, like people's homes and stuff, so that they could add on to O'Hare. I think they did that a bunch of times. I mean, they offered them money for their land and stuff, but you don't have to sell. The thing is, I mean, it's O'Hare Airport. Like, they're going to figure out how to get your property. Eminent domain. I heard that when the first card came out. We're going to talk about it. We got 4 on the table. It's kind of almost in reverse. Just like slightly. Five on the table. So Hattie Thorne sent out an email today for another new deck, and I want to slap her. I'm going to email her and tell her that I think I might hate her now because I want this deck. The thing is I also got to give her, I got to tell her something else, but it's called like the Apocalypse deck or something like that. So it's like the end of the world, but I didn't see any zombies on there. So I was gonna message her and be like, I want zombies. Whoa. Okay, we got 9 on the table. Do 2 more shuffles. We got 10 on the table with bottom of the deck. Set that over there in the box. We've got territory. That's when I heard eminent domain. We've got warning. We've got release. We've got distraction. Distraction kind of like was slightly like We got influence. Wrath. Waterproof. Battle. Why did that sound weird? Battle. We got perspective. And then we got risk, bottom of the deck. Feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. It doesn't matter. So I don't think with the territory card, like I'm not seeing like somebody trying to take away like somebody's property or anything, but I think somebody feels like somebody is infringing upon their territory, upon their community, their area, maybe their property. To me, it gives like more like a community, a town, a village, a street, a neighborhood, right? Like, you can't live here. Like, we don't want you here. Yeah, like they're protecting their territory. They're whatever that territory is. It's like they're giving someone a warning or people a warning to release. It's like a warning to leave, release, leave. They thought somebody was distracted. That's why the card was a little bit in the reverse. They thought somebody or a group thought somebody else was distracted and they weren't paying attention to something, but they were. Because again, the distraction card was a little bit in the reverse. Whoever they want to leave, that person knows something about like a group, a community, a person, and this person wants them to leave. Like get the hell away from me, get the hell away from my home, my neighborhood. Because this person or this group, they try to exert, is that? Yeah. Yeah. Try to exert like influence upon others. And they're pissed off. They're pissed off because they realize this person wasn't distracted. They realize this person, was hanging out with them or meeting them or living by them. And they had a clear head the whole time. Now, the influence, it could be just that they thought that like they were all friends and they had influence with this person, right? Like, oh, they'll just go along. Or it could also be like they thought this person was an addict, an alcoholic, and they were too busy thinking about those things to actually see what was going on here. And then they realized that wasn't the case. Now they're pissed off. With the Wrath card, they're pissed off. They thought that they were waterproof. They thought that nobody was going to be paying attention to whatever they were doing. They thought they were golden, right? Look at how this... I don't know if I've ever said this. It's supposed to be waterproof, right? Like the crow is waterproof, like the water's just falling off of them. But I'm actually thinking that it's sweating. You know how like you get nervous, you get anxious, you get scared, and you just like your palms get sweaty, your armpits start to sweat. You know, like when you're a kid and you're like absolutely terrified that your parents are going to find out that you accidentally kicked a hole in the wall with your big foot. Oh, was that just me? Yeah. I was terrified that they were going to find out that I had my foot braced against the wall and my foot went through the wall. I think I was 10. I would like to say like, oh, I was a chonker, that I really wasn't. At 10, I really was not. Like, I don't know what was up with that wall. There might have been some rot or something. I don't know, but my parents didn't find out for like 2 years, you guys. I kept it covered. And then when because we had, I think technically, my parents had the biggest room, I think, technically. I had the second biggest. My brother had the smallest. But when we were little, my parents took my room and turned it into a playroom because we had so much shit. And then my brother and I shared the small room. He had a twin bed and I had a twin bed, and then I had a futon in there. Don't even get me started on the futon. That was a trip. And looking back on it, it really pisses me off. But anyway, when we had that room as a playroom, I remember leaning back on a chair and having my foot on the wall, and I put a hole through the wall. And they didn't find out for 2 years. 2 years later, we turned it back into my bedroom. We got rid of all of our junk, right? Because by that time I was like 12 going on 13. And my brother was 9 going on 10, like we didn't need all that stupid stuff. And I don't remember when Nintendo came out, but he probably was already playing Nintendo at that time, getting sucked into video games. So like all the toys either got stored away in the attic or the garage, or they got donated, or they got tossed. But yeah, they found out about the hole, and I might have blamed it on my brother, and I don't even think they asked him. They just fixed it. Now, if I had said I did it, I probably would have gotten like the yelling of a lifetime. No joke. Anyway, sweating. Someone's sweating. because they know that this person knows whatever was going on. They think they're going to have to fight this person or battle this person. Now, this could be an actual physical fight. This could be a war of words. This could be court. I mean, it depends on what the situation is. Probably not court for most people. With the perspective card, whoever this person is, this community, this group, whatever, their perspective on the situation is it's ass backwards. It's upside down. Like, I feel like when you basically shut someone out or tell someone that they should leave, imply that they're no longer wanted in a community or a neighborhood or a home, I feel like you're making it that much more obvious that you know that they know. And wouldn't you rather like try to smooth it over and pretend like nothing ever happened so that this person can go on with their life and then, you can go on with yours? Like, I don't understand the whole thought process of let's get so fucking upset. Let's start a war. Let's start a battle with this person. When what's the risk? Like, what's the risk? Like, what did this person or this group do that was so horrible that it's worth the risk to like beat the shit out of this person or take him to court, or you know what I mean? With this influence card, they could have been trying to bribe this person. Like like if they thought this person, was busy drinking and wasn't paying attention, like, let me buy you more drinks. Let me give you a year's supply of vodka. You know what I mean? Like, they could have been trying to make this person distracted. If somebody was addicted to drugs, they could have been supplying drugs. Like, here, don't pay attention to what's going on over there. Do this. The thing is, like I said, whoever this person was, they weren't really distracted. Now, that's not to say that this person still couldn't have been drinking or doing drugs. It's just they were well within their capacity for thought and understanding. Like, if this is someone that was drinking, like, they weren't wasted. Like, they had like 3 beers and then they sat there and watched whatever go down, right? Like, like if they took an edible, they took one edible and they sat there and it wore off after 3 hours and they were perfectly coherent. And some people, let's just say it like this. A lot of the time, I used to do edibles, okay? I used to even smoke every once in a while. I used to have, I used to have a collection of pipes. I don't think I have them anymore. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Um, I think I got rid of them. Actually, you want me to be honest? I had little Lane chest boxes that when I was a kid, I got from like Sears catalog when they would do the wish list for Christmas, and they would do like Barbie stuff, but they would do off-brand Barbie stuff, like fake Barbie stuff. And they used to do like every Christmas they would do like a little Lane chest, and it would come with a chest full of like Barbie shoes, Barbie clothes, and my mom would get them for me. I think she got me two, but I think I put my pipes in there, and I think I donated them to Goodwill. Oh man. That was not at all my intention, but I think that maybe that might have happened. Anywho, I'm not a long-time drug user, but I would imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. You can always write something in the comments. There's never any judgment here. I mean, I'm admitting to doing drugs, right? Um, I would imagine that if you're a regular drug user, aka we'll say an addict, that at some point you just have to keep upping your dosage because you're going to become to the point where you're going to feel like you're not feeling it. Your body's probably feeling it, right? But you're going to feel like, oh, this isn't doing anything for me. And you take some more, you do some more. I would imagine. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But this could technically be somebody that had a high tolerance, and these people didn't necessarily know it, and they thought, oh, they're drugged out of their mind, oh, they're drunk out of their mind, they won't know, they won't remember. And the whole time this person is there, like, clear as day, clear headed, just watching and seeing and taking notes mentally, right? So the release card, when you look at the release card, it looks like it has to do with death. It looks like a bird passed away and they're doing like a little burial for it, and they're doing like a little flight of remembrance or something like that, right? It just kind of gives off that vibe. Um, this definitely could have something to do with a passing. Maybe there was some type of foul play there and they're trying to cover it up. Or maybe, I mean, technically that would still be kind of foul play. If this is a whole group, a whole community, and they're all under the influence, which is why they thought this distracted person was under the influence, maybe somebody passed away. Maybe somebody did have an overdose, and maybe they're trying to cover it up. Or maybe somebody, they were all on drugs or alcohol, and somebody had an accident and they passed away. And they tried to cover it up or something. I don't know. It definitely gives off like not your everyday kind of scenario vibe, because it's not really that often that I pick up on, red rummings or things of that nature. And I don't think anybody, like, I'm not really getting intentional here. But again, like if somebody was under the influence and they had some type of accident and people didn't report it right away or something like that, they tried to cover up the scene, like people could be afraid that that would come out, you know? And if they thought that this other person was under the influence and they weren't paying attention, but they were, it would be like, oh, yeah, Bobby knows that we, tried to cover that up. Now what do we do with Bobby? That's the kind of vibe this is giving off. It kind of gives off that vibe like if we can just get you away from the group, the community, the neighborhood, whatever, like if you just go somewhere else, like maybe we'll be in the clear. Again, it's like a risk evaluation because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're doing something quote unquote illegal, right? Drugs, alcohol's not illegal depending on your age, but if somebody has an unexpected passing because they were fucking around with drugs or alcohol, just call the police. I personally would rather go to jail for a couple months, a couple years, than try to cover up something like that. Because that is absolutely like demeaning and degrading and all kinds of other words to the person that passed. And I also feel like you should own up to your part in a situation. And there's no guarantee, even if this person overdosed or had too much alcohol and passed on from that, like there's there's no guarantee that like you're going to get any jail time whatsoever. You call the police, you bring them in right away, you tell them what happened, you're honest. I mean, let's just be honest here. Depending on what county you live in, what state you live in, what country you live in, like some places just throw the rug on it and walk away. I don't know. And then to realize that this person like saw something and what, you're gonna fight them? Like you're gonna like wouldn't it just make more sense to let it go? For everybody involved to just agree to like let it go, that it was not a great experience. It was a horrible experience and I don't ever want to be a part of something like that again. And I'm not going to turn you in if you're not going to turn me in because we didn't really do anything anyway. Everybody's responsible for themselves at this point, right? Like you're an adult, right? You're going to take care of yourself, right? I feel like it's a hell of a risk to try and cover something up and succeed. I just don't see it. And people get away with red rum and assault and rape, and every day people get away with stuff, every day. But how are you going to get away with covering something up? And then how are you going to get away with calling a person out that you think was a witness that you think is going to tattle on you. Two wrongs don't make a right. And God sure as hell knows that. And God is sure as hell going to see all this play out in real time. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I would rather just be honest. And if I get, some type of time in jail or prison, then so be it. And like I said, it's very, there's something about that, like trying to cover something up, like the way somebody passes is very deceiving, yes, but also just disrespectful, Like that's just disrespectful. Like you should never cover up the way somebody passed. Good or bad, if you want my honest opinion. Like, can we not just live in reality? Can we not just know right from wrong? Is that so hard? I don't know why, but I was hearing like kids playing, like kids calling each other's names. Not like calling them names, but calling them by their names. Kids laughing, and I could see kids running, like almost like on a playground. Maybe this involved kids, or maybe these people were kids. They all grew up together, or maybe these people all have kids and they're all friends. You know what I mean? I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to say anything else. I'm not seeing anything else. I'm not hearing anything else. And I just say the same thing over and over again. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't, I'm starting to get like a fuzziness in my head, like back here. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I hope the message resonated for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, if anything, you found it entertaining. I hope you all have a great day and or evening. I'll talk to you later.